I joined the Air Force in 1957 because I wanted to fly. I was in the high school ROTC, and I hated getting lost on combat map missions, and I didn't like the idea of sleeping on dirt. So I joined the Air Force. Simplistic enough, I guess. Yes, I was basically Drum and Bugle Corps for the basic, as a basic airman, and then I went to electronics maintenance school at Scott Air Force Base, and I met a lot of people there, and I was basically in heavy radio electronics until I moved over. When I got through with that, then they sent me over to England, and I was set up as a channel and communications controller there. Well, the story goes, while we were there I decided to apply for aviation cadets, which had been my original purpose. And so I did apply for aviation cadets, and I passed the test, as well as 4 others of my compatriots there. And we came back, well, no, actually, there's only 2 of us actually passed the test, 5 of us applied. And then I was sent back to the United States to go to aviation cadet school. When I was in Drum and Bugle Corps, and I was in the marching band at Lackland, I had seen the aviation cadets come out of their own area and traipse across the front of our barracks. And when they got to the corner, I noticed they were in a round wheel cap and white gloves, and they were very purposeful, as if everyone was watching you. And there was no one there, of course. But they turned the corners and they marched all the way down. And I thought one of these days I'd like to do that. Later I got a chance to do the very thing. I was posted to the 40th Bomb Squadron, 6th Bomb Wing, as an electronics countermeasures officer. Obviously my electronics background helped at that end of it. I was a navigator and a second lieutenant. When I got here, I was assigned to a crew. We went to survival training, of course, up in Reno. I was assigned to a crew, and then I was made a first lieutenant right away because we didn't have any second lieutenants in SAC, at least not in crews. And I flew with E-85, I believe it was, Mort Bader's crew, and it was B-52Es. It was a sobering experience to see the nuclear weapons and the hound dogs slung underneath the wings. But I found it rather heartening, and I was quite happy to serve with my fellow officers, as it were. Basically, we flew normal missions, low-level missions, and chrome domes. And it was like I say, I guess I flew about 10 or 12 of the chrome domes, and we did them on a regular schedule until the Cuban Crisis came in. And then we did it we doubled our schedule for them. I guess I flew about 10 or 12 of the chrome domes, and we did them on a regular schedule until the Cuban Crisis came in. No, we were here, but everyone was on base. And so we had the 2 squadrons, 24th and 39th, which were student squadrons. So we had their aircraft, and we were a little over twice the amount of crews that we needed for the 40th Bomb Squadron. So we had to deploy them to the other 2 squadrons, and then we had to use some of the people that were here in training. Well, the 40th Bomb Squadron had a do, and it was in celebration of heaven knows what. But I got to be the toreador, and I got to march from the back of the officers' club all the way front, dressed in a toreador's outfit. And it was a big gag thing, you know, one of those television things, and the 40th Bomb Squadron and my crew was involved heavily. That was the fun part. The most important part, I think, was the heavyweight takeoff that was mandated to us by the Navy, I believe it was, where we had to react within 15 minutes, get the aircraft across the chalk line, and walk down. I used to call it the elephant walk. And we'd go down to the 2nd or 3rd turning and come back again, and we align ourselves back in our cocked positions. But after that, then we had to deploy, I don't remember how many aircraft, but they had to fly out of here, one after another, after another, after another. And that was very interesting to see. Later I found out that the Navy didn't believe we could do it, so we had to prove it to them. Oh, I had an explosive decompression at altitude, and I was retired on a disability as a captain at the age of 26 years of age. First of all, directly after that, my wife and I decided that we wanted to go and do a few things and explore things. So we went off to Ireland for 10 years. And then we came back, we finished our degrees, and she's a professor of history at University of Louisiana Lafayette. And I taught in 3 different colleges. I taught basically business. I only have a master's degree in finance and business. So we basically taught college level stuff.